Welcome back, guys, and in this video of our JavaScript nuts and bolts, I want to talk about destructuring objects and array. And so destructuring objects and array simply means getting data out of the arrays and object without necessarily using the indexes and many of the traditional ways that we are used to. So without further ado, guys, let us dive in and see how to perform the structuring of objects and arrays. So I'm going to simply create a function here. Very simple. I'm going to say, let us call this function const get president name. So this function is going to return president name. And let me use this guy like this instead and just do something like this and then like this. Inside here, what we're going to do, we're just going to return an array of, actually, let me just specify here number, a parameter that will be passing to this array. And so let us assume we are returning the names for the sixth president. I believe it was, say, John Quincy. Sorry if I misspell. Quincy, John Quincy, I believe Adams, like so. So John Quincy Adams. So that is basically what you are going to do from this function. I know it is quite simple, but anyways, I just want you guys to grasp the concept. So let us now just do something like this. For now, let us just console.log without doing anything complex in this function. And then let me just call this guy here, and I'll pass him in this console.log as so, and then I'll add semicolon like that. And so if I do this, if I just run this code, you see it returns nothing fancy, but rather just the names of the sixth president. And so let me just add number 6 here just to make it more sense. Let us do this. Let me clean up this guy, and then let me just do this. Then instead, I'll just pass in here 6 just to make it more readable and much more understandable. And so, assuming that this function returned the names of the sixth president. So now, if you wanted to get the first name from this array here or from this function, what you'll traditionally do, you'll say const, and then you will probably do something like first name, and then you say equals to, let me just use camel case here, like this, and then you'll call this function like this. Just copy this guy like this, and then paste him here. Then you'll pass the index that you want. In this case, we want the first index like that. And then if I want to get the second guy, then the name from this function, I'll do the very same thing by doing this. Then I'll just say here that this is the second, name, right? And so instead here, I'll just pass 1. And then lastly, I'll do something like this. And then this will be my third name. And so I'll just say something like third. And then here, I'll just pass the index of 2. And so down here now, I can simply, let me just copy this console. I'm quite lazy. And then now, in order to print the first name, of course, I'll simply do something like first and then say name like that. If I run this code now, it will give me the same value for the first name. And if I want to print the second name, of course, I'll pass here the second name. And then if I run this, of course, it will give me the second name. And if I want to get the third name, of course, I'll also pass again here the third name by simply doing this. And so this is how you will traditionally pass variables, or rather get variables from an array. And so when I rewrite this code like this, so now we have another array here, first name, second name, third name equals to our function, as simply as that. And then the name inside here. So now look what will happen if I run this code now. Interestingly, it prints the same third name that has been passed here. So when you do this is what is called destructuring your array. You're simply getting the values directly from the function, or rather from an array which is returned by the function without necessarily accessing the index. Yeah. And so if I undo this and just again print let us say I want to get the second name. If I print the second name here, this will do the same thing by returning the second name. In this case, it is Quincy. And if I pass the third name here again, it will return the very same thing as expected. So if I pass third name here like this and then run this code, this will still print the third name, which is Adams, or even the first name, the second name, or the third name. So how interesting is it, guys, to use this structure? And let me just take this further and show you that let us assume that I only want to get the first name and the last name. I can do simply like this by just removing the second name here. And then if I remove the second name here, my array here will simply know that I want to get the first name and the third name where the second name will be null. So in this case, if I call this, if I print console log third name, then this will still print Adams. And interestingly, if I do something like this, if I pass a variable that is not inside this function, or rather is not returned by this function, let us say maybe a variable by the name, let us say nickname, like this, and then I come down here and I print nickname like this. Then if I run this code now, you'll see that it will print undefined. This is because this nickname is not defined within this array that is being returned. And if by any chance now, if I come to my function now and I edit my function and to return a nickname, let us say inside here, I just add something like nick name, and I say that nickname is equal to the sixth, and then I just pass here now nick name in my array. So now if I try now again to do this, of course now expect to see the sixth as the value here. So let me just check where this error is coming from. So if I say let nickname like this, so and then I'm going to rename this also to be the nickname like this. Let us run this again and see if we'll still have the error. So now we have our code. Now the issue was that it was referencing this same name, which was a constant variable. But now when using let, we see that we're able to access our nickname. So that is how, guys, you can be able to use the destructuring functionality on arrays. And interestingly, something that also you can enjoy with the destructuring functionality. Let us say I have two elements in an array, and I say AB like this equals to maybe some numbers here, 1, 2. Traditionally, when you want to swap elements, for example, you have the element A and B in an array with the values 1 and 2, and you want to swap them, you will have to write some code down here in order to be able to swap this element. But now using the destructuring functionality, you can be able to do this with ease. Yeah, with ease and without, it's just a breeze. So if I print these values right here using our guy, as you know, this guy, and then I print maybe comma, just do like this. Then I print A comma B. So we'll have our values here. So if I do this, I believe everything is fine. Then we have these values 1 and 2. And so to swap these elements, I can simply do something like this. I can simply say B comma A now equals to, let us say simply A comma B. Then that is it, as simple as that. And now if I run this code, actually see that the values have been swapped, and the value for A is now 2 and the value for B is now 1. So that is one of the key advantages that come along with the destructuring functionalities. Guys, I wanted to show you both destructuring the arrays and the object, but this video seems to be long, and so I'll continue this part of destructuring objects in part 2 of this video. But so far, but with this, guys, I hope you have learned something. And as usual, please leave a like, leave a comment, and until we meet again, bye bye.